Hey guys, Fox here, and today we're going to be talking about Derrick Dillon officially signing to the Cleveland Browns. He is leaving the Tampa Bay Bandits. As for him in the USFL, he was probably one of the more underrated receivers. He actually had the sixth most yards of any receiver, 386, and was Tamu's best target as he actually was second in the entire league at yards after catch, showing his true ability to get, past defenders and score touchdowns, as he was one of the players that were tied for second in the league with 4 touchdowns. The team he is joining in the Cleveland Browns, yeah, there's a lot of, speculation and questioning about how this team's going to do, with the Deshaun Watson suspension being recently appealed. We don't know for sure how long he's going to get. And as for the receiving core, their starters Amari Cooper, Donovan People-Jones, and then David Bell. Their backups Anthony Schwartz, Demetric Felton Jr., and Jakeem Grant Sr. The third stringers are Jamarcus Bradley, Michael Woods II, and Javon Wims. Then the fourth stringers are Mike Harley Jr., Travis Harris, and Derrick Dillon. As for the team's fourth and third stringers, Harley and Harris are both undrafted free agent rookies. Michael Woods II, and the third string is a 6th-round pick of this year. But the two that have played are Javon Wims, who was a 2018 7th-round pick by Chicago. He didn't actually play at all last year, but when he did play in the 2018, 19, and 20, he basically only appeared in was mainly a special teams kind of guy. He didn't do that much in offense, as his sophomore year was his best year, in 186 receiving yards. As for Jamarcus Bradley, he's heading into his third season. He has been in a couple games. He's gotten a career 124 yards. He's not really a threat in an overall roster position type, but he is someone who's been on the team a couple years. Their backups, Jakeem Grant Sr. has been with the Dolphins mainly his whole career until last year, where he was mainly a kind of guy who was just a very solid player. He wasn't, a massive star. He played with 2 teams last year, one team with Chicago, one with Miami. He's consistent 200-yard receiving guy pretty much. He's only had 2 years that he actually plays in that he hasn't. As his sophomore year had 200 yards, his third year had 268, and then his fourth year he had 373. So he's a very solid backup receiver to have. He does a lot of rushes as well. He usually does a few rushes every year. Then Demetric Felton Jr. was a 6th-round pick last year, and he had 181 yards last year, which is pretty decent, along with 24 yards rushing. He also did score 2 touchdowns. And then Anthony Schwartz was a 3rd-round pick of last year, and he actually did less than Felton did, as he only had 135 yards with 39 yards rushing, and he only had 1 touchdown. So as for the receiving core, the backups are a bunch of decent backup guys. And their starters, Amari Cooper, everyone pretty much knows who this guy is. He was a 4th overall pick back in 2015. For the most part, he's been a consistent Pro Bowler, aside from the last couple of years with Dallas. But he's a very solid receiver who usually has 1,000 yards. He's not a star, superstar number 1 receiver, like 4th overall pick should be. But he's a very solid receiver. Donovan Peoples-Jones was a 6th-round pick in 2020. He actually has been a very, very solid receiver for a 6th-round pick. His rookie year of 300 yards wasn't anything spectacular, but last year he did actually have about 600 yards receiving with 3 touchdowns. So he's a very solid receiver. And then David Bell's a 3rd-round pick of last year, and he is the current starter. As for how I think Derrick Dillon can go, he really could become a 2nd stringer, but more or less he's probably going to be a rotational 3rd stringer type of guy. I think he can definitely become a 3rd stringer over at least one of those guys, but we'll see. This has been Fox. If you enjoy this content, want to be notified as soon as I upload any videos, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell. And as always, have a great night.